Carolla Comes Alive. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on. No choice but to amend it. Get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend that about you when you share the show. Michael Yo in
Adam.
studio.
Happy New Year, man.
Excited to see you, my friend.
I'm excited to see you, actually.
One of our favorites,
I
Michael
love
Yo.
Adam, Michael, hot off his New Year's Eve broadcast. There were 4 broadcasts. You had the Nashville one, you had Dick Clark, you had CNN, and you had Michael Yo.
That's right.
That's right.
And we got second.
Oh,
Ryan
in the ratings.
Yeah, Ryan Seacrest beat us. But we beat the other one, so I feel good about it.
Listen, I don't want to. It's easy to hate Ryan Seacrest. I don't have any reason to hate Ryan Seacrest, but I do wonder, like, when people take jobs, like he's up there and he's got the president of the United States up on the Jumbotron, and he's like, "Sir, what'd you eat over the weekend?" It's like, "I like ice cream." Okay, there you go. Like,
Was that the pre-interview too?
the nothing question person.
Yeah,
what is in it for them? You know what I mean? Like, people always say to me, "Oh, you should shut up. You know, stop talking about this and stop talking about that." I go, "Well, I'm a comedian, so if I do that, I would fucking kill myself." And then they go, "Well, you'd be more popular further along if you just shut up about this or that." And I go, "Yeah, I know, but what are we doing?
Yeah,
why
no.
why am I holding a microphone so I can ask the president? Do you like stuffing or Jello?"
In Ryan's defense, you expect him to ask Biden about the border crisis?
No, he has to do it. No, that's my
Exactly. And that's why I quit entertainment news.
Good.
Because I had to ask the dumbest questions because that was my job.
Yes.
It's your job. Like, your job is to ask about gossip. Nobody, I don't care what actor is listening, nobody cares about your movie on entertainment television. They just care about who you're dating, what type of baby you got, the most gossipy question.
And I would say,
that's it.
And here's what I would say about Ryan Seacrest and all those who talk about nothing into a microphone. They go, well, that's your job. Yeah, their meter maid is a job. You ruin people's days. You get paid. But I personally wouldn't do it, and I probably wouldn't be friends with someone. Guard at a concentration camp. That's his job. Okay, I'm saying, yes, there are many jobs where people just do their job, but you don't have to do it. But you could do something else.
But he's also trying to bring joy to people's new year. I mean, come on. And being in charge of a concentration camp and New Year's Eve celebration.
Guard. I didn't say commandant. There's a distinction. You never saw Hogan's Heroes.
No, I don't even know what that is.
All right.
Well, let's say I gave you a note, Adam, that today Joe Biden will zoom in, but you can only ask him about dinner. Would you do it?
Yes, and then I would seamlessly dovetail into the fucking border. Is what I would do.
And then he would hang up. And then,
hey, Joe, you like Mexican food? I love a burrito. Speaking of Mexicans. See how smooth it was?
Really
You didn't even see it coming.
See, I didn't either.
And definitely Joe wouldn't have seen it coming because he can't see anything right now.
That's right.
But I will tell you, this happened to me. I was on radio in Miami. Florida. Everybody wants to win Miami. So this is when Obama was running, and they said Obama was going to call me on the radio, live.
Wow.
So it was crazy. He had 7 different phones. They check in with you. They count it down, and he comes on right when they hit 1. And my first question, this is when Mariah Carey and Nicki Minaj were fighting, because I'm pop radio. I don't care about politics. And I go, but this is right after he got stomped on the first debate by Carey. You remember, I think it was Carey, or somebody really crushed him in a first.
McCain?
No, it was Carey, right? It might have been Carey.
No, listen, I'll definitely believe you on
I think it was Carey. And everybody thought that was going to be the first question because I go, hey, this happened the other night. Mm-hmm. And it's the elephant in the room. We got to open up with it. Can you restore this relationship with Mariah Carey and Nicki Minaj? And he laughed and answered it. Next day, all over Fox News. Why would he answer a question about American Idol? This is horrible. I was like, see, that's the thing. I'm not going to ask. I did ask about politics, but it's not my job. I'm on pop radio.
The real problem, as I always go to this example, is they go, especially 10 years ago, 20 years ago, they go, Monica Lewinsky wants to come on the show, but she just wants to talk about her handbags. And then you go, yeah, but it's going to be weird if we just talk about purses and clutches like the whole time, And then they go, she's not getting into the whole president thing and the blowjobs. And you go, well, now we're in a weird position because it's going to be weird to the audience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're going to talk to OJ about golf for 40 minutes and then we'll let you go. Juice. Like, that's
Did you take the interview?
problem. It wasn't me.
Oh, it wasn't you.
I
Okay.
remember I was at Kimmel's.
Okay.
I was working on Kimmel's show, and I'm pretty sure she was a guest early-ish on. But, of course, you then get the writer. We want to talk handbags.
Yeah.
She's got a line of handbags coming out. But we're not getting into this. And then you're in this position of sort of, now you can say yes and then change gears. I mean, when I think the last time I did Letterman, like the guy who used to do this all the time, and at a certain point, the interviewer gets bigger than the celebrity guest. And it's kind of a weird thing. Like when I started Loveline, every band and every guest was bigger than me. But at the end of Loveline, we were probably bigger celebrities than the guests we were interviewing, in which case, fuck them.
Yeah.
We're going to ask anything. But I remember Howard Stern was leaving terrestrial radio. Everyone knew it. They knew it for a year. Mm-hmm. And he was going to Sirius XM. And there's a lot of scuttlebutt about who was going to take over for Stern, but they wouldn't say anything. But then I found out I was going to be taking over for Stern, at least on the West Coast. But I, of course, was instructed not to say anything. But there were some rumors going around. And so then I did Letterman right about that time. And they basically came in and went, "Are you taking over for Stern?" And I was like, I can't get into that subject, And they're like, "Well, he may ask." And I go, "He can ask all he wants, but I won't be able to really give him an answer because that's part of the contract, and we haven't been." I don't know why. There's a lot of secrecy around radio. I don't know.
It is.
Like anyone gives a fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Aunt Bee and her coleslaw recipe. It's like, it's a secret. Yeah, good, cunt. Fucking die. Like, I don't care about your stupid coleslaw. They make it into a thing. It's not important. Like, we should have said it day one.
100%.
But I said, look, I'm not answering. I will not. But I'm an open book. I'm just contractually obliged to not answer. So sorry, I won't be able to answer. And they're like, "Oh, okay." And then I just went out there and like Letterman's like, "So you taking over for Stern?" Like, because Letterman's a bigger star than me. He might not have done that to George Clooney. You know what I mean? But he's bigger than me, so he can do what he wants.
Did the interview go sour after you didn't answer it?
No, I did Letterman 2 times, and I remember the first time I just crushed it. And the reason I crushed it the first time, and the second time was real good too, is I prepared because it's a Letterman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the other reason is that the first time, and you know this as a comedian, when you come up with an angle, like a hook, like an angle, And my first time I did it, my angle was so good that it just kept going. And I remember the angle, and it was super organic, which was, I'm on Letterman. I never thought I would be on Letterman. I'm a carpenter from the San Fernando Valley who grew up watching Letterman. I didn't think I'd be here, And so I came up with this long list of people who needed to kiss my ass. And it was like Mike, my construction foreman, who yelled at me to run to his truck. Like he said, "Go get my level out of the truck." And I started walking for his truck, and he yelled, "Run." So I was like running to his truck. My manager, Ken, at the Studio City McDonald's, who told me time to lean, time to clean. Mr. Gregory, driver's ed teacher who failed me. And I was like, I don't even drive. I got a limo. It's filled with chicks and coke. Like I just went nuts, and the audience was going nuts because they were like, "Yeah, this is This is what I would do if I went on Letterman and I just told everyone to kiss my ass, and it just went over huge.
That's awesome. That must be an amazing feeling walking off that set.
Oh my God. I mean, literally after being, 18, sitting in my buddy Ray's mom's apartment at, 1 a.m, just sitting there with no job, watching Letterman and stuff, and then just being on Letterman. It was insane.
And then crushing it.
And even doing, God, it wasn't Larry Bud Millman. It was the stage Skip. Shit. What was the black guy who was the stage manager for a million years?
I've never been on Letterman. I don't know.
Well, he used to be on the show a lot.
Oh, okay.
That's why. But Skip, who was Letterman's longtime stage manager?
Dempsey?
Who?
Oh, Biff.
Biff
Okay.
Henderson, I think.
Yeah.
Biff Henderson. He'd be on the show. Like, I've been watching Biff Henderson for 20 years, So now I'm standing backstage and there's a guy getting ready to pull the curtain and it's Biff Henderson, and he's like, all right, have a good hey, what? I should be getting your autograph. And to top the whole thing off, I was going on before James Brown. That was the last guest. I was going on, but now they always put the musical act at the end. But just the notion that Biff was pulling the curtain, and then Letterman was out there, and Jimmy was a insane Letterman fan, and he hadn't done it. So Jimmy was going to be home, like standing in front of the TV set, watching it.
It's huge. Maybe
like a 3-point stance or something in front of the TV set. And James Brown is going on after me. Like it was nuts. Crushed it. It was awesome. So that's Letterman
huge.
recollections. Yeah,
That's huge.
Yeah. Today, interviewing Peter Frampton. I've always been a huge fan of that guy too. So that'll be pretty good.
What
too.
show has Peter Frampton and Krayzie Bone on the same episode?
I
No
know.
other show.
No other show.
We
That's
did it.
range. Oh, sorry. We have me on Letterman telling my old manager Ken to kiss my ass.
Oh, yeah.
From McDonald's. Yeah.
Ken was my manager at the McDonald's in Studio City. Ken, you didn't think I had what it took to work behind the counter. He wouldn't let me work a register. I was on crap patrol, Dave. I had to clean up, empty the garbage, sweep. Time to lean, time to clean was Ken's motto. Ken, how about a sweep and a mop of my ass? I'm on Letterman now. Huh?
Nice.
There you
I
go.
love it.
Baby.
I went through everybody in my life. I used a real name.
I
and I
love
told him
it.
to kiss my fucking ass.
Now, you mentioned James Brown. You mentioned Biff. Yasmin Bleeth was on that episode, too. Come on.
I think Yasmin was the lead guest probably on that one. And then the second time I did it with freshly minted Knicks basketball coach. God, it was a basketball coach.
Pat Riley? Was it Pat Riley?
No, it wasn't Riley. It was another guy you'd recognize, but I don't know if he's even coaching anymore. It was. I'm trying to think of who I did that show with. Anyway, all right, stuff to talk to.
All right.
You can figure that stuff
So,
out.
Krayzie Bone's coming in a little bit.
Yes.
I just wanted to refresh you on some of his hits.
Yeah, let's.
You know
hear 'em.
Krayzie Bone, right?
Yes,
Both
he's been
Thugs
on
and
our
Harmony.
show. Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was on in 2022, but The Crossroads, it is rap canon for me.
Should we hear a little of it?
I'd love to, actually.
All right.
So this is
Dawson, you have some of that? Yeah, let's hear some of that.
no, this is Chameleonaire, The Crossroads.
Oh, confusion. What? No way.
Well, I don't think this is Dawson's wheelhouse.
No, but you're supposed to just
Yeah,
give him the
and this is
song
the first
and tell
I
him to
heard of
play
it.
it.
This is the first I heard of it.
Chris, weren't we going to listen to some of it?
I thought we just listened to it.
Can I ask you about Chris Rock?
Sure.
I'm not judging.
Yes, you are.
But he wears a diamond stud earring that is so small you barely can tell it's a diamond. Have you ever seen that?
I've never noticed that once.
It's because it's so small. It's weird. Like, I get I'm a rich guy, I got a diamond in my ear, but I can barely see the diamond. Seems to fly in the face of the piercings and the diamonds. Like, why?
Why go through with it? Yeah.
You guys will find a picture of Chris Rock
I've never seen that once.
with. Well, the question is did you see it and not notice it? Now, this is a small. There's ones of him wearing a smaller diamond in his ear. Like I'm talking about less than an eighth of an inch. Which I
this
kind
doesn't
of
look bad. I'm fine
it doesn't
with this.
look bad, but you can't really see it.
Well, what do
which
you
is
want
kind
to
of
wear? Earrings hanging down, like dangling?
You want
Yeah,
the
like big
Harrison
clamp-ons, like my grandma wore. No, I'm
Kangas.
saying either put in a decent-sized diamond or no diamond. I'm not really. I kind of like where his head's at, pardon the pun, but I'm just saying I've seen him do interviews and stuff where it's like you're going, is he wearing earrings? Because I can't really
This is what I
tell.
think.
That could be a booger on his lobe.
This is what I think. I think he has holes that never close, and they may be big, and he'd rather put some in it. Because I still have holes when I had earrings. That was the thing when I was 18. The hoops.
The hoop.
I had hoop earrings back in the day when I played college football.
Oh, man.
That was the thing, though, to have a hoop earring. So, like, I don't know if you can see on this ear, but
Yeah.
you can still see the hole.
Yep.
Yeah, so maybe he just doesn't, like, maybe his hole is bigger or he doesn't want it
He's
to
hiding
show.
the hole.
He might be hiding the hole.
I've just never seen anybody wear diamond earrings that are almost invisible. It's just a weird conceit, is what I'm saying, which I don't really mind. I just find it peculiar. It flies in the face of wearing diamond earrings. That's what I'm saying.
For you. But for him,
No,
it's
no,
just
for
like,
anybody.
No, I just think, put two little things in there and let's go. He doesn't want to say I got earrings in. He just wants to say.
And I'm not going to circle back to don't wear any earrings then. That's what there's not a federal mandate that you have to wear
But I'm
diamond
saying,
earrings. I know you two are confused, but I'm saying nothing at all is on the table.
But I just
Chris,
told
you
you-
wearing diamond earrings?
I currently
Dawson,
am not wearing diamond
Michael, me. All right,
No.
clearly can be done.
Well, yeah, but I think he may have a hole in his ear. He just doesn't want to
If
show.
Michael was self-conscious about the hole imprinted in his ear that even is closed.
Yeah, what about your hole?
Oh, my wife makes fun of it all the time. She tries to stick earrings in my ears. But
Oh, you
no.
don't. But you don't care if it
I don't
closes.
care,
You
no.
want it to close.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
it'll never close.
All right.
It will never.
right.
This is 20-something, 30-something
Close your hole for a second. Let me move on to the next subject. I want to find a picture. There's a picture of him, like when he does interviews and stuff, where he's just miniature, like straight on, where you're looking at him straight on. It's like microscopic diamond. Again, not judging. I'll put it to you this way. Let's put it to you this way. Can you give me another example of a human being, a celebrity that you know that wears micro diamond earrings?
No.
And if the answer is no, then it's an anomaly. Then I'm right. And that's
I've
what
never
I'm saying.
paid attention to ears like that.
Well, they're doing an interview. There's a camera there. How can we not miss
How
it?
big
I've
is Ed
interviewed-
Bradley's earring? What's he rocking?
Ed Bradley's and Harrison Ford have the same jeweler. Like they have the same one stud. Also, once you turn 50,
Stop
sorry,
it.
the window's closed
Yeah,
on
stop.
the piercings.
I'm with you on that,
Harrison
like-
Ford on his 73rd birthday. It's like, I got to get a stud. Like you do. Spend some more time in the simulator.
Dude, he's hanging out with Jewel, right? That's the last thing I heard. He's hanging out with Jewel.
Costner?
That's Costner.
Oh, that's Costner.
Costner.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
how's
You mixing up your old white guys.
they all look the same. All these white guys, old white guys, look the same.
Yeah, Biden's calling in. We'll ask him about that. Yeah.
I do like Jill sitting next to him, like offering an assist. I like gravy and turkey. What about ice cream?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, ice cream.
The ice cream is the out. Like, you got
Punch out, punch out, punch out.
I don't know. When the camera stopped, do you think he told her, hey, bitch, listen, I don't need fucking training wheels on what I like to eat. He didn't say, what's
would
your
think.
favorite cold dessert? He just said, what are you eating? So I start saying what I'm eating. And when you chime in, it makes it seem like you're my nurse. You know what I mean?
Don't you guys get that a lot if you do crowd work and you ask a guy what he does and his wife will chime in for him?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
well,
the thing.
sometimes they'll do a thing. What the wife will always do is just disagree. Like they'll go, and you, what do you do? And he'll go, I'm electrical engineer. And then at some point he'll go, and do you also contribute around the house? And he'll go, well, yeah, I do. And she'll just be shaking. Yeah, like I'm out in the yard. I'm doing the gutter. She's shaking. Women will they'll just be like a pitcher who doesn't like any of the call signs from the catcher. It's like, no. Nope. Shaking that one off. Listen, I'm not a full-time dad, but I spend a lot of time. No, he does not. Do you play any fantasy football? Maybe a little bit. No, he plays fantasy. He eats all. Well, what do? Do you spend more time with the kids or more time in your roto league? I sure think I spend more time with the kids. No, he doesn't. That's all women do. Is they sit next and they answer his question with their head. They don't have to say anything verbally. They just disagree vehemently. I don't even think there's such a thing as a woman who, if you put them in a club and they sat next to your man and you got up on stage and went, so you're really a devoted father who spends a lot of time with your kids? There would be never, they would always shake it off. You're dedicated to your wife and you focus on, you like your wife's friends? Yeah, I like, okay, yeah. No, he does not. Yeah. No, arms crossed, head slamming side to side. No, I do not. Yeah.
Yeah, I've only seen through crowd work one woman defend her man in all these years. Just one.
Oh, I have seen one too.
Yeah.
The one I liked the most was, was she at a Knicks game? Remember the chick that was sitting on the floor at the Knicks game?
No.
And wanted to throw down with LeBron James or something? That's right. I want to marry that woman.
Ride or die
This
there.
was 4 years ago or something. And she was just mouthing off, and she was out of her seat and wanted to fight LeBron. I don't know, was it LeBron? She wanted to fight LeBron on behalf of her man.
But doesn't that make the man feel small when your wife is jumping up trying to fight for you?
I don't know. It's like saying, doesn't your wife earning 3 times as much as you make you feel small? And I'm like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Let's give it a shot.
Let's go.
You know what? Let's try it for 8 years. Let's see how small I feel. Get back to me in 2037, and I'll tell you how small I feel.
Okay.
While I'm sitting on my throne.
If you had a lady that made 3 times as much as you.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And she said, hey, if you had kids, I mean, you have kids, but you had kids you had to take care of.
Yeah.
Say, okay, I just need you to stay at home, take care of the kids, and I'm going to just go to work.
Yeah.
Would you be cool with that?
Yes. But here's the thing. Well, okay. Here's the thing. Couple things. I want to get your take on this, Michael Yo. And this is not, I don't need your take on this, but I'm a carpenter. So if I stay home, I'm going to build a deck. I'm going to do something. I'll build a safe room. I'll build a deck. I'll put a home theater in. I fucking love staying home and building, but I won't be staying home watching my stories. I'll be building something. I would probably go nuts if it was stay home and change diapers and cook food and, clean and stuff like that. But I would be the project manager. And I've had situations where I've been home for a week, like during Christmas break or something, we're doing a home theater, and I'm on it. I dug it. But here's my theory, Michael.
Uh-oh.
Do you have the courage to answer it honestly?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
We say all the time, well, men wouldn't be comfortable with women making more money than them. That's untrue. But I'll tell you what's baked into that, which is why people think men would be uncomfortable, is if women made more money than men, especially if it was a ratio of everything to 0, they'd get their way on everything. They'd call every shot. Every vacation, you want to go to Maui, she wants to go to Mexico, you're going to Mexico. You want to go out, you want Thai food, she wants Italian food, we're going Italian. Whatever it is, she's paying, and she's getting her way, and that's understood.
Yes.
And it's not a two-way street. Every relationship I've ever had is I make all the money, and then when it comes time to, are we eating Italian food or are we eating Thai food, we will flip a coin, or she will win the argument. Or are we going to Mexico or are we going to Hawaii? We will flip a coin, or she will win the argument. That's a pretty good setup for the person that doesn't make any money. It would not work that way, and you would be a goddamn pariah. If your woman made all the money, and Michael Yo made none of the money, and then she went out to lunch with a few of her friends, and her friends said, Christmas vacation's coming up. Were you guys going on vacation? And she went, I want to go to Hawaii, but Michael wants to go to Mexico, so I guess we got to go. They'd go, are you fucking divorce that feckless, cockless piece of shit. You make all the money. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Have you seen the hole in his ear?
Oh my God. Are you nuts? No way. They would never put up with it. You would be a cuckolded pariah pussy.
Yeah.
In that equation, her friends would come in back to your house and just look down their noses at you. What
You
a
can't
pathetic.
call the shots.
Oh, you're paying for everything, sweetheart. You're not going where he wants. Go to Mac. Do what you want. It would never work. It would never work.
So what's your question?
My question is are we uncomfortable with the notion of our woman making more? No. What we're uncomfortable with is them being in charge fully because they would use the shit out of that power. They would flex that muscle.
I'm talking about my wife.
Yeah.
I don't think she would because we do what she wants. So really, it's like she's making all the money anyway. Like,
yes.
we talk about things, but it's a lot easier for me if we go where she wants to go.
I talk to Dr. Drew about this all the time. I don't know if women know that most of the time we think of you as a special needs child. Like, I don't upset Timmy. I know, but he just said the earth was flat. I know. Just leave him. Leave him be. He'll have a tantrum. I don't want to get into this. Like, women, you need to know that oftentimes we think of you as a special needs child, and we just don't want to get into it.
That's
We just
Adam.
don't.
That's
That's
me.
100%.
Baby,
every
I
guy
love
that's
you.
been in a relationship just goes, do not upset Timmy.
No.
He's going to have a tantrum. Just leave him be. He
Honey,
just said a bunch of incorrect shit. We're not going to say anything
Right.
back. I don't want to get into it.
Ab and Michael said it.
Don't want to get into it.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I love you, honey. I didn't say
Hold
that.
on. I'm nodding my head.
No,
I'm shaking
I'm not nodding my
shaking,
head. Honey,
nodding, nodding and shaking.
No.
Shaking and nodding.
No, I just think, yeah, that's what I
No,
thought.
you learn. No, listen. Okay, let's just put it this way. You learn to pick your battles. Right.
That's what it is.
That's what you do with a special needs child.
No,
Pick your
no.
battles. Pick your battles. He's not.
No.
He's not.
Do I really care if I go to Hawaii or Mexico? No, I don't.
You have one you prefer over the other.
Yeah, but I travel all the time
Okay.
too, so
All right.
Hypothetical.
You've seen it all.
We have
I've seen it all.
LeBron. We have the woman standing up and yelling at LeBron.
Oh, this is
I
great.
think they're playing the Hawks.
There she is. Yeah.
That's my woman.
Lady. Wow.
She is.
Well, she's pointing like that one meme with the lady and the cat. Negative of the Cavaliers that set LeBron off in Cleveland.
LeBron's frustrated.
She's yelling at him.
And her friend's taping. She's just trying to get views. You see her friend
Right.
taping it?
Yeah.
That's all for views.
she's
I'm
pointing
gonna make
like
them
that
mad.
one
I'm gonna
meme
get
with the lady
clicks.
and the cat.
I'm gonna
Yes.
get views.
She got it.
All right, Krayzie Bone is here. Should we just bring him in?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Give Michael
While
the old
we're
break.
bringing him in, Dots, could you play that Chameleonaire song now, just so our audience?
You mean
they
the
know
other song he won a Grammy for?
The other number one hit he had.
Did you know he won a Grammy for that?
No.
Yeah.
Well,
see?
no, that's why you're here.
That's right.
Krayzie Bone in studio. Always good to see you, my friend.
Indeed, you too, brother.
So, all the way in from Santa Barbara?
Yes. With Channel Islands, like in between Ventura and Oxnard, yeah.
Let me ask a question about Channel Islands. Is it urban, ethnic? What's
Huge
the
rap scene
breakdown in Channel Islands? Because when I was a kid, I played a bowl game in Channel Islands, and it was pretty black over there.
Honestly, I only been there for like a week and a half. We just moved over. There.
Answer the
Well,
question.
you're the representative of Channel Islands now.
But I can tell you, like, I went inside the grocery store for the first time, and it was like autograph, picture. I was
you've answered my
like,
question.
I'm like, they don't do this in L.A. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
They didn't even do that to Messi when he went
Yeah,
to a grocery store in Florida.
That's right.
Yeah, it was a lot of love out there for sure, definitely.
So, like I said, I've lived here my whole life. I went to
Yeah.
Channel Islands once when I was 9 to play a football game, but I still don't know where it is. It's halfway to Santa Barbara?
Yes, because I'm 30 minutes away from Santa Barbara. 30 minutes, yeah. Santa Barbara's 30 minutes north of me, yeah.
That's a good move to a place. I don't know. Do you want to live in a place where you have to sign autographs at the market? There's a pro and a con to that.
I mean, man, I'm used to it now. You know, everywhere I go, I just expect. I know when I go out in public, you know, I might run into somebody that want an autograph, so I just do it. And, you know.
Oh, well, good, because Michael Yo wants an autograph.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get that autograph and picture after the show. You know how we roll it.
Yes, indeed. Oh, no.
So good to have you back on the show. I know you had a health scare recently.
Yeah, man. I was in the hospital for like 3 weeks. I was intubated for like 10 days.
Wow.
Yeah. I had some bleeding in my lungs, and for some reason, when they went in and done the surgery to stop the bleeding wouldn't stop, and I bled for, I believe, like 7 days, and on the I bled for 6 days. On the 6th day, it stopped. It stopped bleeding, but it was looking grim. They was, you know, they informed my family. They was like, you know, if this bleeding don't stop, it's not looking good, you know. So it was like, you know, by the grace of God, that bleeding stopped on the 6th day, and it was, you know, it was perfect.
Were they really telling you to like talk to your family and get your affairs in order and that kind of stuff?
Well, they were telling my wife this. I was knocked out.
You were out for how many days?
I was out for 10 days.
Wow.
Yeah, 10 days. I went there. Man, it's crazy because I drove myself in, you know, thinking, you know, like, because it happened before in 2018. They checked me at the hospital, you know, but it cleared up overnight and they let me go the next day. So I'm thinking it's going to be, you know, like an in and out thing this time. But I went in, you know, they checked me in, and like all I remember is going into the hospital room. And after that, I woke up 10 days later in ICU. Like, it was like a dream world or something. It was crazy.
Do you, I think we always talk about people like who have this kind of experience, feeling like they have a new lease on life, or they see things from a different perspective or something.
Oh, yeah.
I've found that doesn't last that long.
Yeah, I feel you.
No,
But I was already on my new lease on life. You know what I'm saying? Like before this happened, I was already making changes in certain things I was doing, certain people I was, you know, hanging around, you know. So I was already making changes like before it happened. So yeah, I still feel the same. I'm still on the same mission, for real.
What is the mission?
To stay away from people that's not good to be around, and man, just to be more proactive in everything I do. Like,
I don't think people get the importance of, you know, well, first things first, they do this thing all the time where they go, you got to hang around with people that inspire you.
Yes.
True. But you also need to get away from assholes.
Exactly.
They don't really tell you about that part. It's a two-parter. Like,
but I would imagine sometimes it's hard to get away from some people as well, because they feel like they're part of this whole thing as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's when you just got to really like know how to separate work and social. You know what I'm saying? Like people I work with, everybody I work with, I don't socialize with. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, like most of the people I socialize with, I don't really work with. So, you know, I try to keep it like that.
So I know you didn't do the lung transplant, right?
Yes.
So did you stop smoking?
Yeah, I stopped smoking like 2-3 years ago. You know, but when I first went in, it was like they were ready to do, like they were telling me that I had zero they were telling my wife that I had zero lung function in the left part of my lung, and my wife was like, he works out every single day, you know, and then when this got back to my doctor, to my primary doctor, she was like, this is impossible. I just did tests on him like not that long ago, and his tests were the best he's done since he's been with me. So they had to slow everything down, and they done their test, and they came back and saw it. It was like, yeah, well, I mean, your lungs are damaged, but you still have a substantial amount of blood pumping into the damaged lungs. So we're not going to touch it because we don't want to mess up the quality of life that you do have. Your wife said you was working out 5 times a day and performing on the weekends, and that's what I was doing. I was like, I don't feel like I don't have any function in my lungs, so I don't know what they was talking about for real.
Your wife said you were working out 5 times a day?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A week.
Oh yeah, I was.
Wait,
yeah.
a week or a day?
No. Yeah. 5 times a week. I'm sorry.
I've assumed that's what you meant. I just wanted clarity for the audience.
Yeah.
For those
Not
who
5
are only
times a day.
listening, Krayzie Bone is jacked right now.
Yeah, I wish. Sure.
All right. Did you guys see? I want to talk music Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as well. But also a thing, because it reminds me of a theory I have. There's a Dave Chappelle subject I want to get into. There's also, I don't know if you saw this crazy footage of the guy charging the judge, and he jumped over the...
I just saw you.
He jumped over the thing.
Nevada, yeah.
But it'll bring me to a theory that I've discussed a few times. So we can see the footage. It's 10 seconds. Everyone's seen it. The guy is being arraigned, and I guess he breaks...
This one's a little longer. This is about 30 because we
breaks loose
the head there. So he's...
I appreciate that, but I think it's time that he gets a taste of something else because I just can't with that history. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court...
Got her, too.
Yeah. He did full Superman right over the top of the desk and attacked the female judge. But he was originally in there for part of his rap sheet was what?
Domestic violence. Yeah.
He beating on a woman. And all I'm saying is I don't know if you guys have ever had this experience where you go like, you take some guy and you got to cut him loose, you know, and you go, listen, I got to let you go from the organization because a lot of people here say you've been disrespectful. Fuck you. Yeah. Okay. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're showing disrespect or suck my dick. It's like, this is what, yes.
Yeah.
I'm talking about this. The reason you're not making probation is because you physically, wait a minute, I'm being physically assaulted by you. Your last word should have been, you see? Exactly. This is what I'm talking about.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, but you got to respect the vertical this dude had.
Oh, that's what I'm
saying.
I mean, look how high
Let's
that
get
is.
this guy into the
cleared
combine.
it. He cleared it.
He cleared
though.
it, man.
I'm like,
Yeah, he didn't go.
I've been in the courtroom and I've seen how high the judge was. You know what I'm saying?
He's high, too.
Oh, yeah.
For real. I'm like, man.
Listen, whatever prison he goes to, they gotta raise the walls. Because this guy's going to go right over the top.
Exactly.
I would talk to that warden. Like, listen, whatever you think it is, this guy will clear it, baby.
He's a coyote.
Definitely.
All we got to do is get some white bitch on the other side talking shit, and he'll go right over the top of this wall. We're going to raise it. Yeah.
Man.
So I thought that was funny, but I always think it's funny when you're talking to someone about what they're doing and they start doing it.
Yeah.
And everyone has
Just
friends
reinforces it.
who've done that, right? You're giving them the speech about something and they're engaging in what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. It's you get that a lot when you have to let people go. I've never been in a position where I had to let people go. I mean, it must be awkward. Yeah, do you do it personally?
I've definitely let a few people go. I remember the thing about people have like big time egos, you know, so all you have to do is kind of spin it. Like you go, like when I didn't want to work with Danny Bonaducci doing radio anymore, I was like, you know, Danny, here's the problem. I'm a lead guitar player. And you're a lead guitar player. And you need your own stage to play. You don't play rhythm guitar. You play lead guitar. So you need a stage to play lead guitar. Like our next guest, Peter Frampton. And he goes, yeah, I got you. So what you do is you kind of tell people, look, this, you know, you're being held down in this environment. You need to spread your wings and soar. You're really saying, get the fuck out of here. Yeah. And obviously, we don't want you here anymore. I remember we had a guy, I won't mention his name, but I kind of liked him or something. But years and years, many years ago, more than 10 years ago, and he talked to me and Mike August, who are running the business here, and he goes, look, I need a raise. And I said, well, you work on a show that has no advertising. You don't have one piece of advertising on your show. And he goes, yeah, but I know there's money. I go, well, there isn't because I see the books, but how could there be money? Because there's no advertising. You're doing a podcast, but there's never a commercial. So where'd the money come from? And he goes, I know there's money. And I go, well, I don't think so, but I would help you. I would help you raise money by like coming on the show and talking about it and see if we can generate some money. If we can generate some money, then you could have some money, some more money. And he goes, that's not my job. I go, well, okay, but if you want more money, then we'll try to talk it up and we'll try to raise some money and we'll get some sponsors. And then once those come in, then you take some money. But I can't give you money now because there is no money. And he goes, there's money. I go, listen, I'll help you. He goes, that's not my job. I said, you know what? I hear you. Okay. I'll tell you what. Let me just talk to Mike for a second. Just excuse us for a second. Just close the door. I'll talk to Mike for a minute, and then we'll see what we can do here. He goes, okay. He leaves. I go, Mike, how long do we have to sit here so we're pretend like we're having a conversation about whether we should keep this guy or not? And he goes, give it 5 minutes. I go, all right, let's pretend to have a conversation. Yeah. And then we just sat there and talked about football for 5 minutes, and at some point slid the door open. I was like, yeah, come on back in. We've decided to go a different direction. So you never get to fire people, huh?
No.
How about like a gardener, pool man?
No.
Prostitute.
Cleaning lady.
No. I moved. I broke a cleaning lady's heart because we moved. Because she loved our family so much.
You didn't want to fire so bad, you just moved.
No, we moved. Yeah, right. I just moved. I fired one person, but they were horrible, so they knew it. It's easy to fire terrible people.
Well, they know it. Do they know it?
Oh, I think they do.
They do.
They do. Oh yeah, this person knew it.
Really?
Yeah. I fired them. They're like, yeah, okay. Yeah.
What?
I get it. So
really?
Oh yeah. It was in radio.
Really?
In Miami? Yeah, I remember.
Were they work at the station, or they worked?
They worked at the station.
Air?
They worked on my on air, and they were a producer. And I go, yo, man, like I'm doing all the work. You're not doing anything. Oh, well, yeah. Oh, well, I don't need you. And he goes, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Krayzie Bone, you ever fire anybody?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, plenty. I mean, back in the day when I used to do it, I used to, because everybody worked for me. You said, that they would call me directly. So if I just stopped taking your calls, you eventually get the picture. And then when and then when they ask me, what's going on? You remember what you did, and that's that. But I give people a chance though. You know what I'm saying? I don't fire people for like petty stuff, and you know what I'm saying, but. When people gotta go, they gotta go, and we usually just be like, ain't gonna be no leaping on us either. We don't be worried about that.
One of the craziest let go stories I read. So I've fired a couple of pool men. That is a first world problem. Firing
yes, it is.
Your pool guy.
Wow. Huge turnaround rate. Pool men at Adam's backyard.
What'd he do wrong?
Well, one guy. Okay.
You're so passionate
one guy
about it too.
would clean out the skimmer with all the leaves and shit in it. Instead of go to the trash can and just empty the leaves in the recyclable or the trimmings, the green can or whatever, he would just dump it in the garden bed 10 feet away. So instead of walking 30 feet, he'd just walk 8 feet and just dump it, in which case the wind would just kick them back into the pool. So I said to him one day, because I would then walk over and see piles of wet leaves in the garden bed, and so I said to him one day, like, hey man, just walk it over to the trash can and dump it out over in the trash can. And he's like, okay. And then I showed up. The thing about the pool man, it's always a mystery. What time? What day?
Have no idea.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
No idea. But you'll catch him once in a blue moon. Your schedule will get off, and you'll be pulling up at 1 p.m. on a Tuesday, and you'll see their truck. And there, I walked out there, big pile of wet leaves, right? Like I was just like fired because I was like, I told you not to do this, and then you just did it.
He was like, not my job. Not my job.
Your job is to clean the filter out filled with leaves. Just go to the fucking trash can. Anyway, the funniest one I had is I had another pool man at another house. And it rained and it was windy and whatever, and there's this big long pile of weird busted up leaves and branches and stuff that made a big hoop all the way around the pool, just stuck to the tile on the side. And he was there like one day, and I said, hey man, could you brush that stuff off the side there? And he goes like, yeah. And then I came home and it was all still there. Because pool men really aren't pool men. They're just super lazy dudes you went to high school with who don't really feel like working. And And I came back and all the leaves were still there. And so the next time I saw him, I said, hey, man, I told you to clean those leaves off the side of the tile there. And then I came back and they were all still there and you didn't do it. And he goes, you never told me that. And I said, well, even if I didn't tell you that, and by the way, thank you for implying I'm insane, because me walking out to the yard and having a conversation with you about leaves that never existed makes me clinically insane. But I did tell you about it. Thank you. But let's just say I didn't tell you about it. You're the pool man. You got leaves going all the way around the side of the pool that I don't need to tell you. You should have done it anyway.
Exactly.
So he started like arguing with me. And so I did what any man would do. I marched back in the house and I said to my wife, fire him. Yeah. I said, fire this guy. Fire his fat ass. He's a fat guy. I said, fire that fat pool man. And the following week, I came home and I was looking in the backyard and there's a pool man out there. And my wife was home and I go, wait a minute. Is that our old pool man? Is that the guy you fired? And she goes, nah, this guy's wearing a hat, And I go, well, hats can be, changed. Sometimes you put them on, you take them off, and we're like looking at the back, sliding window, trying to hide behind the sofa. You got to hide, poking our head up. And I go, our last guy was fat. This guy's pretty fat. The new guy's pretty fat. I think this may be the last guy. And she goes, I don't know. I think the other guy was a little thinner. I go, well, hold on. Did you fire the last guy? And she goes, nope. Oh. I go, well, I have a new theory.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. By the way, do we need to go through this?
Yeah. The stomps on your hat theory now, by the way.
My hat theory's out the window.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll do some news.
And Rock and Roll Hall of Fame stuff, too.
And some Rock and Roll Hall of Fame stuff. And we'll do that right after this.
You're about to hear a preview of the Jordan Harbinger Show with Bill Browder, who uncovered a massive fraud inside the Russian government and took on one of the most powerful men in the world, Vladimir Putin.
Well, I was sitting there down 90%. They were going to steal my last 10 cents on the dollar. So I took a decision which nobody had ever taken before, which was to take on one of the oligarchs. I did. I fought back big time. Sergey and I exposed the crime. The same people who Sergey testified against arrested him and then tortured him to try to get him to withdraw his testimony. He was really a man of steel. On the morning of November 17th at 7:45 a.m., I got the call from Sergey's lawyer, and it was the most horrifying, life-changing, soul-destroying news that I could have ever gotten.
For more on how Bill Browder continues to fight for change while being a thorn in the side of Vladimir Putin, check out episode 3, which is one of the most popular episodes of The Jordan Harbinger Show.
In the spirit of Murrow, Jennings, Cronkite, here's another great moment in local news.
Happy 80th birthday to E. Norma Stitz of Quitman. Happy birthday to you, Miss E. Norma.
That's a great moment in local news. Now, back to the Adam Carolla Show.
All right. We got some Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Because you guys, you live it, you play it, you've been there.
Krayzie's from
Well,
Cleveland.
he's been there. not
Krayzie's
me.
from Cleveland.
Oh, yeah.
So there's, all right, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't like the idea that they spread into all the different genres. I think there should be a pop Hall of Fame and then a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What do you think? Thoughts?
It should be one.
One.
Just one. It should
Maybe
be
they
the
rename the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame then, because the argument is that these are a lot of the inductees are not rock artists, right?
Yeah.
So it started that way. So, but now that
like Eminem and Shaka Khan are not Don Cornelius.
Or NWA. I mean, I kind of agree with that too, though. Like, why not just do a really big hip hop museum like like it's being done? Why not do a really big pop museum on the same level as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think.
I agree.
I think it would. You know
That's right. They have like Holocaust museums.
Yeah.
But like Armenians from the Armenian genocide don't go, hey, we need a branch. You go, no, you get your own
But
museum
I
and
think the
your
Rock
own
and Roll
plaque.
Hall of Fame is just it's a platform for other music as well. I know what you're saying, but it's like you go to Best Buy. You're like, Best Buy is TVs, it's microwaves, it's everything. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, to me, is just an umbrella. And it was named Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, then, all right. What about, I just watched this stupid thing. Kate Bush. Kate Bush has got nothing to do with rock and roll. She's got one fucking hit. She's a skinny chick. No one knows her nationality. And it has nothing to do with rock and roll. Zero to do. But she doesn't have any. Look, I love the Spinners. The Spinners got in. Spinners, you want to do yourself a favor, just get the best of the Spinners. It's just hit after hit after hit, and they're good.
Yeah.
I get the Spinners, not rock and roll, but lots of hits. I don't get Kate Bush. And I don't get, and also then they're trying to get like Devo in and these like sort of novelty pop bands that don't have any place there.
Well, Kate Bush had just a year, like a straight year of just being. Like,
Jeffrey Dahmer had a year.
I know.
Where everyone knew
That's
who
what I'm
he
saying.
was.
So I don't think I think in 20 years we're going to look back and be like, oh, Kate Bush.
It's a mistake. It's a mistake. She has one song, at least that we're aware of.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't even know who she is.
That's my point.
Her song was on Stranger Things and became the number one
we
song.
We have two legends of rock
and
legends of hip hop music, urban music, and you have no idea who fucking Kate Bush is, right?
I don't.
Okay.
Do you know who Kate Bush is?
No, I don't.
You're from Cleveland, and you've sold 30 million records, and you have no idea who Kate Bush is. Okay, sorry, Kate Bush, you cannot be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Krayzie Bone doesn't know who you are.
It all goes through Krayzie Bone.
Yeah.
He grew up, you're not in.
He grew up 3 blocks from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and then went on to sell 30 million records. He doesn't know who you are, bitch. Sorry. You can't get in. That's it. And then there's guys. I had this conversation with my son the other day. I was like, Ted Nugent, not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And he's like, how come? Because Ted Nugent is rock and roll. Like when you see pictures of him in a loincloth swinging on a vine across the stage with a Stratocaster strapped to his ass, you just listen to this riff.
Krayzie, what's the non-hip hop style of music or artist do you spin the most that you just love?
Man, I listen to like stuff like like Phil Collins, like stuff like
Phil Collins.
Police.
Oh, nice.
Like Duran, like stuff, like all kind of stuff. Because I grew up on that stuff just like I grew up on the hip hop and the soul music I grew up on. Like my father used to listen to everything. So Rod Stewart, all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like so I listen to all of it. So that's why I have a wide range of like music, you know what I'm saying? Like musical, because I come from all of that, like for real.
Yeah, that's why Bone Thugs is so melodic.
How do you feel about
definitely
Phil Collins not being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? He's in with Genesis. But he should also arguably be in as a solo artist, simply for
God.
In the Air Tonight.
Listen,
it's amazing.
Couple things. Lou Reed, talentless hack poser Lou Reed, is in 2 times. 2 times. One with the Velvet Underground and the other just striking out on his own. So if Lou Reed is in 2 times, then Phil Collins should be in 5 times. Number one. Number two, I did have to explain to my son. He was like, so then why isn't Ted Nugent in Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I said, because it's fucking political and they've ruined their brand.
Well, here's some other notable band leaders who are in with their band, but should be in solo as well. Don Henley, Sammy Hagar, Pete Townsend, John Fogerty, Robert Plant.
But at least they're in with their band.
With the bands, yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, Phil Collins remade Crazy Kind of Love, which is pathetic and sad. He should be kicked out he should be kicked out of the Genesis side of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for rebooting the dumbest song from the 60s. I like Phil Collins, but he has some shit songs. Embarrassingly bad songs.
Speaking of Lou Reed, though, so you were tweeting yesterday that you prefer the Burger King theme,
the jingle, the voice of
the
guy who sings the Burger King theme song over Lou Reed.
Happy.
Oh man, it gets stuck in your head.
This is the best jingle to come out in over a decade, I think. Like it's just a straight earworm.
Yeah.
Have it your way. It's such a jam.
It sounds like Craig Robinson. Is that him?
No, he's hooked up with Pizza Hut.
He's a Pizza Hut guy.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's crazy.
But the guy can't
They the same
really
company,
sing,
though?
but that's the beauty of it,
Yeah,
right?
that's great.
That's
Wait,
why.
let's just
That's
hear
why I
it.
like it.
Let's just hear it clean one more time. The first 20 seconds of it. Yeah, but he has a better voice than Lou Reed.
Fries or rings or fries and rings, BK combo, so many things. Iced or frozen drinks your way, put some choice back in your day. At BK, have it your way.
It's a little pitchy. The timing's a little off,
It's
but
all
that's what
better
makes it
than Lou
awesome.
Reed.
What's he say at the end? Roo? What?
Well, you rule.
Oh, you rule. Okay, I was like, roo.
You rule because you can afford a hamburger that's under $6.
I found an extended version. This one's kind of nice.
Chicken, Italian spicy bacon, chicken.
It's like what
Take
Wesley
one
Wills
bite
wanted
and
to
it all
be.
starts
Yeah.
clicking, crown up my day. Toasted bun and tasty royal sauce.
Yeah.
Got me buzzing, I'm the royal boss. Sauce it up. and
Crazy, you gotta
come
track
with
this guy down to
my
collab.
Yeah, for real. Hey, man,
Is this
song
guy
was,
black or what?
this song was stuck in my head for like a week. Man.
Yeah.
For real.
Who is this genius?
I couldn't find it. It was just it was credited to Burger King, so they're not
They're
even
not
revealing
letting
who it
on.
is.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if it was like Flo from the insurance company?
You can't reveal it.
Or what's his name from the State Farm? What's the new State Farm?
Oh,
dude?
Jake from
Jake
State Farm.
from
Yeah.
State Farm. Wouldn't he be crushing it if he was doing the BK song and hanging
Yeah,
out?
but you
with
can't
the-
reveal that. It's like Michael Jackson. He had to change his name when he was on The Simpsons.
Did
That's
Bone
right.
ever do like a theme song for anybody when y'all when it was the biggest group in the world? Did y'all ever McDonald's ever approach y'all or anything like that, and y'all did a little catchy theme or anything?
No. I think they was a little bit too scared.
Oh, back then, yeah. Today
Everybody
you
too
would have got
scared.
it.
Yeah. Today, but back then they was like, we want them thugs in here.
Yeah, now you'd get your own meal.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
The Bone Thugs meal.
Definitely.
Can I say this about the whatever rapper meal? You just adding barbecue sauce doesn't mean it's your own bespoke meal. It's a Big Mac, small fries, and a medium Coke, but I have barbecues. Like that's not. Don't make your own burger. You can't just add a condiment and put your name on it.
For real.
That's not a thing. I'm angry about that.
Yeah.
But I still argue that the BK singer has a better voice than two-time inductee Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Lou Reed.
But besides you, do you think people care who goes in there anymore?
No, I'll tell you what I care. I'll tell you what I think. I have a bigger, more global theory. My global theory is that a lot of these Tiffany brands are fucking up their brand by getting too expansive and too whatever. There's it's like if you took a look, I'll just put it to you this way. We're getting away from the meritocracy of life. Kate Bush, it's like God, who's in? Okay, so I'll give you Joan Jett's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She has 2 hits. One of them's a cover, and she basically sucks. But she's a woman and she's a lesbian, and they go, we need to round it out. So she's in there for that reason. There's no possible other explanation why Ted Nugent is not in and Joan Jett is in. So you're hurting your brand when you do that. So if you took a look at the viewership for the Oscars from 25 years ago, it'd be well, they get 30 million views and the Super Bowl gets 30 million views. Now the Oscars get 6 million views and the Super Bowl gets 100 million views because it's a pure meritocracy. It's all the best. Whoever's the best teams, the best players, regardless, there is no Joan Jett playing cornerback for Kansas City. It doesn't exist. It's just who's the best athlete, who's the best player, and that's all this. So I think Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Oscars, and a lot of these other things are hurting their brand by doing this all-inclusive stuff. It should be only based on your product, your music, your ability. That's what I'm saying.
But how do you judge that? Because let's talk.
Joan Jett has 2 shitty songs.
But you're talking about
20 good songs.
But you're talking about TV shows
catalog.
right now. I know what you're talking about, but you just mentioned TV shows. TV shows.
Well, I'm saying movies, but TV shows.
But let's talk about movies. Do you go by how much they make, or do you go by how good they are? Because the Oscars never give away movies that make the most money. They usually give them away to the movies that make $4 or $5 million in the box office.
Well, that's a kind of a snobbery. They'll never give it to Top Gun.
They should have. It
But
was
that's
so
the whole
good.
point. Like,
was
it made
so
$1
good.
billion and it was good.
So
but they're
good.
snobs, so they got to go to the one with the subtitles, with the couple.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So-
saying you're hurting your brand with your sort of snobbery.
I mean, to me, what's that Ryan Reynolds character?
Ken.
Superhero.
Deadpool.
Is so good. Like,
yeah.
that one of those should have won something.
Definitely.
Man,
definitely,
it's
yeah.
so good.
So
Yeah, they would never do it. They would probably never give it to a comedy, for instance, even though a comedy's like really hard to do, really hard to make.
I would say like
money, too.
editing, comedy should be up for best editing in movies, just because comedic timing.
Hold on a second. We found the singer of
yeah, I
the
have
Whopper
that.
song.
Uh-oh. Does he have an album?
His name's Crown from Crown and the Mob.
Wait, is he the white guy or the black guy?
We'll find out.
I'm going with the black guy, but why would you show two people?
I think this is a video that we'll watch.
100% convinced that this is Shem.
Whopper, 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 Junior, Double, Triple, Whopper.
And Shem, you have the words right there. If you could just remind us how close this is.
Yep. Whopper, 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 Junior,
That's not
Double,
him.
Triple, Whopper.
Yeah, what is it?
No, I think
No, it's
that's
Crown from Crown and the Mob. That's who.
I asked Byron, and he said that's him.
No, I think
No,
they're
that guy was
playing
imitating him. No, there's a group called Crown the Mob, and the hip hop artist Crown is the one who did it. He was in the studio that day.
Do we hear any song? We need to hear songs from that group so we can verify.
Crown and the Mob, Dawson.
Do you mind if I ask
They
Crazy?
also go by Whopper and the Pickles. So that's a tell.
Can I
That's
ask
a good
Crazy a
name.
question, please?
Please.
I always want to know this. When y'all came out, Easy discovered y'all, right? You were
Yes.
part of that.
Yes, sir.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's just Easy, NWA, the biggest group in the world at that time, finds Bone Thugs. When did you have any run-ins with Biggie or Tupac?
Oh yeah.
And how did you approach that whole fight between them, and how'd you stay out of it?
Well, we had came up with Big, you know what I'm saying? We came up around the same time, so we used to do shows with Big all the time. We didn't know Pac that well, but we ran into him like a few times in traffic, and it was never no like drama or nothing, you know. We done a song with Pac, and you know, like a few months later, Big asked us to do a song. You know, so it was like we didn't have no problems.
Bone and
like,
Biggie.
Yeah. So we just managed to stay out that whole beef because we had respect for both of them. You know, like that's y'all's. You know, whatever's going on, that's between y'all. We just doing music. We fans of both of y'all, so we just stayed out of it, like for real.
Wow.
And that was shocking for us because we was young back then, and you know we still had the mentality of, but we knew that beef just wasn't. We didn't want nothing to do with that because we respected both of them.
Michael Yo's showing off his old radio chops.
Oh man, I'm so excited.
That was not what you had for dinner.
No.
That was a real question.
It's just like he was that group was so monumental at that time, Bone Thugs, and they were in the middle of it all. But they navigated. You never heard their name thrown into any mix. They just stayed out.
And when Mariah Carey and Nicki Minaj had a feud, but you did work with Mariah Carey
for
definitely. Breakdown, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
How'd that come about?
Man, she called us. She called us one time. And we was actually like, this was in the height of like Bone, like we was just blowing up, and we was like just like on fire, like in the city. We didn't want to leave Cleveland, you know. We was like, oh, y'all didn't used to like us then, but y'all like us now. Like, so we was enjoying it, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they called us one day, and it was like Mariah Carey wants y'all to come to do a song. Now, I mean, we knew who she was, but we didn't understand at the time how big she was, because we was honestly contemplating on not going. Wow. We was like, what? Who is she, man? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we was actually contemplating it, but then we was like, nah, man, let's go. You know, let's go ahead and do the song. So me and Wish got on the plane. We went out there, and man, like she laid it out for us. She had the weed and the liquor on a silver platter, man.
Really?
Nice.
On a real silver platter. We was like, oh, okay, that's how she do it. You know what I'm saying? And man, we went in there, you know what I'm saying? We just like started vibing to the song. I think what's his name? I forget his name. But yeah, the producer was in there, and man, we just rocked it out. And then like we after everything was mixed, we got a call saying she want to shoot a video for it. We was actually on our way to go on tour in Europe, and they called us like 5 days before, like, she want to shoot the video before y'all go to Europe. And we like went down there and shot the video. And it's one of her biggest songs and one of the songs she loved the most. Definitely.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
The song Breakdown?
Yeah, Breakdown. Yep.
Oh. You know, there's a Boss Skaggs song called Breakdown.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Is it a cover? Is it a cover of Mariah Carey's song?
No. Sorry, Adam.
Is it called Breakdown or Breakdown Ahead?
It's called Breakdown, but here's Mariah Carey's Breakdown. Mariah Carey also not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Let's do another news story.
Oh, before that, just because this actually made news, and we talked about this with Exhibit when he was here last month. I asked him about what he thinks about the current rap scene, and he said that he wasn't impressed by it. He thought that it was going in a bad direction. I want to get your thoughts, Krayzie, and is there what do you think is going on with rap today?
I mean, I think it's a lot of repetitive, sounding artists. I don't think it's like a lot of different variety of it. It's like we're being forced to listen to one kind of music, and there's so many other talented artists out there just not being given a chance because they don't sound like what they're playing on the radio. So I think it's I think they need more people to just like be themselves and be different, not try to sound like everything that's out, like, because everybody sound like, look alike. It's like, be different. That's when the music was thriving, because in the 80s, 90s, you didn't hear artists sounding like each other. It's like that's the main goal now. It's like, if you don't sound like somebody, you can't come out now. So it's like, when is that cycle going to stop?
Well, it's just maybe labels stop taking risks, right? Because they want people to establish audiences already. They want you to just sound they know what they want to know it works. Like when Bone Thugs came out, nobody sounded like them.
No, because it was like NWA. You had Bone. You had Farside that just finished up. You had Biggie, Pac brought their own style. You had Tribe Called Quest that had their own style, and that's what was so good about it back then. Is now, like you said, after Kendrick Lamar blew up, everybody's trying to sound like Kendrick or like a lower version of him.
How good is Drake, or how bad is Drake? Should we blame Drake?
Okay, I will say this, and this is not a bad thing. Drake, to me, is the Taylor Swift of hip hop, and I say that with all respect because I like his music, but he's very catchy. Every song is a hit. Every song breaks the internet, and I think he's phenomenal. But I can't speak for rappers, but I would assume there's some kind of disrespect from certain rappers, like that's not real rap,
I mean, I've always been the person, like, what I'm saying, like, if he's been like, people in hip hop listen to him, like, not everybody, but it is some people that rock with him, and I mean, to me, he doing this, like, whatever he doing, he found a niche because it's working, what I'm saying, like, and like, I mean, ain't that what the business is today?
Yeah, find your niche.
But would you hang out and listen to Drake?
I would.
I listen to some of his songs.
I love Drake.
You do?
I love him.
Oh, I thought we're going a different direction.
No, I love him. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I listen to his music. I go to his concerts.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm a Drake
when you
fan.
say he's the Taylor Swift, I thought that was like a little disrespect. But no.
No. I'm saying because he sells like Taylor Swift. He's the Taylor Swift of hip hop. Like, he's that dude right now that's just selling out every song he comes out. No disrespect at all. That's like a compliment.
Okay.
Yeah.
We find the Whopper Singers rap band.
Crown and the Mob.
I want to know if
not let this Whopper
I want to
thing go.
know if he sounds like the guy
He needs his
or not.
flowers. Yeah, we got to find this guy.
Are we looking for him?
He needs his flowers.
I need to know if you just got me off the trail with the wrong guy, Byron. And now we know the band, and we need to figure it out.
T-Pain used to be made fun of because of auto-tune.
I mean,
now everybody's doing it.
Yeah, but if you notice, like, nobody like really used it like T-Pain because he could really sing, so he knew how to use it and made it sound good because he can really sing. That's why everybody's trying to do it after him. They don't sound like him at all. Yeah, definitely. Like, and you're right. He really got vocals.
Yeah.
For real.
Like, there's some videos that came out recently of him just singing regular.
Oh,
and everyone's like, whoa.
Incredible.
Like, what the hell? Where did this
He has
come
a great
from?
podcast, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so why use it if you have the chops is the question, I guess.
It's a gimmick.
Yeah.
It was a gimmick. It got him.
It's gone too far for me.
Should ask
And at the
I like
time-
to hear everyone's
and
voice.
At the time, like, he was the first one to use it in the way he used it, so it was new. And it was it introduced a new sound, and everybody loved it.
All right, let's do one more story.
You want to do
and
news story?
we'll
So we
bring,
never talked about
Frampton
this
in.
yet, but Southwest Airlines over the break, they got a lot of praise, especially on TikTok, for their plus size traveler policy, which allows passengers of a large size to get the basically the row, the empty adjacent seats next to you, so you can sit comfortably on a Southwest flight.
So wait, you get the row.
Yeah. Well, you get the empty adjacent seats. It could be up to a row. And so what they want you to do is they want you to buy the seats. So buy the multiple seats.
Fat people buy the extra seats.
And then when you sit there and you show them that you need it, they'll refund you for the other seats that you need.
Let me ask this from a purely safety standpoint, because I've had this happen a million times. You know, sometimes you're sitting in front of the bulkhead, right? And you take your backpack and you put it down on the floor, and then they go, "Sir, you got to put the backpack up in the upper compartment there." And you're like, "I got my seatbelt on, and I got all the shit I want in the backpack." And they go, "You got to put the backpack up." And you go, "How about I take the backpack and I put it under my seat?" Nope. How about that? No. Backpacks once we level off in an hour and 25 minutes, you can get it whatever's in your backpack. Yeah. All right, what's more dangerous, my backpack or some huge fucking tub of lard sitting in the seat against the aisle, like a morbidly obese 400-pound dude who can't walk without oxygen? If there's a fucking fire on this airplane, if there's a fire, would you rather contend with my backpack or the 400-pound tub of fucking goo who can't make it through the fucking aisle without both his love handles getting wrapped around a seat?
Well, we can ask Krayzie. Weren't you on a plane that caught on fire once?
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah, man. We was it was my manager at the time, Steve Lobel. We was going to Chicago from Cleveland, and man, I was so tired from the night before because I forgot what we'd done. But I fell asleep as soon as I sat down in my seat. Like we
Private
in first class.
plane?
No.
Oh, it's commercial.
Yeah, Continental Airlines back in the day.
Wow.
So we in first class. Like so I doze off and go to sleep before everybody even start boarding the plane. So next thing I hear, like my manager waking me up, and I hear like the alarm going off, like ram, ram, and like everybody is like going toward the exits, and my manager like, "Yo, the plane is on fire." The first thing I thought when he woke me up is we was already in the air. I'm like, "What? And the plane is on fire?" And I was like, "Oh my god!" So when I saw everybody getting up, like it was like they was going to they was getting everybody on the slide, and I got to jump down the slide and slide down the thing. I was like, bro, it was crazy, man. I was like.
You went down the slide.
Yeah.
Wow. So imagine if there was a 500-pound dude who was going to take all the fucking air out of the slide before your skinny ass jumped down. Exactly. Wouldn't you be pissed?
They have to go last.
Yeah.
They have to go last.
So you're saying big people shouldn't fly?
I'm saying a couple things.
Yes, please.
Okay, couple things. Let me explain business to everybody. When they go like, well, we charge this or we charge that, or everything is passed along. It's all about fuel. It's all about Jet A, and it's all about weight. That's why they give it to you so hard on your luggage. You know, it's 50 pounds or weigh the shit. Yeah. They will shift people around on the plane to get the center of gravity. Yep. It's all weight and fuel. That's all a plane is. So for every 400-pounder who wants to fly with an $89 ticket, a 200-pounder is subsidizing the 400-pounder. They pass it along. You know what I mean? They spread it out. All the skinny asses are paying for the fat asses who want to fly. Number one. Number two, we need to start bringing a little shame back, because what causes people to lose weight, Michael Strahan got shamed. He was a fat kid. He was a fat kid, and at some point, he said, I got tired of being made fun of, and I started hitting the weights and kicking ass. And that's why we have Michael Strahan today. We wouldn't have Michael Strahan today because the kid that made fun of Michael Strahan would be arrested.
That's true.
So, A, we need to start shaming people, and B, maybe we just need a fat-ass airline at this point. There's enough morbidly obese people.
Fat-ass airline.
But you know how much the tickets would be on the fat-ass airline? A lot more than would be on the skinny-ass airline because of Jet A fuel.
I have a question. Do you think Southwest is, since you can't really sit people next to, if they're obese like that, you can't sit people next to them anyway because that would offset the plane, right? In certain situations. So it actually is a benefit to them. It looks nice, but it's like, yo, if we put two people by him, let's say it's a 3-seater, the plane would shift weight.
They should weigh everybody who gets on the plane
and that's
with,
the price
with
of your
their
tickets.
luggage.
That's the price of your
That's
tickets,
the
how
price.
much you weigh.
Like one of those salad bars.
Yeah.
You can go load up as much as you want, but you're going to pay for it. They're going to weigh it. Or you can just get a couple chickpeas and save $1.
All right.
That's the way I roll. And if you fat asses went to the salad bar a little more often instead of the Golden Corral.
Also, speaking of airlines, for those who sit up
You're
front,
very angry.
I'm angry.
For those who sit up front, like in the bulkhead, it's insane that you can't have your bag up there and you have to put it up top.
See, you can't fit your bag under there because they have the life vest under there.
But there should be a compartment.
But what I'm telling you can't even put a bag under the front. See, I've been there several times.
I've sat at that goddamn bulkhead.
You can't put anything under it, Adam.
No, you're not allowed to.
No, you can't even put your bag under it because the life vest is
I know.
right
They
there.
won't let you. You can't have anything on you.
It won't fit even if they
All right,
could.
I don't. You two idiots are talking about the same thing 5 times in a row. There, you said it there. Here's what I'm saying. I had a woman sitting across from me at the bulkhead with a large dog sitting on the floor at her feet where the bulkhead is. The dog weighed 80 pounds. My backpack weighs 9 pounds. And they told me I have to move my backpack in case we got to get off this airplane. And I'm like, well, don't you think we're going to have a harder time with that large dog if this fucking thing goes up in flames than my backpack? These are the rules. They don't make sense. And I've had enough.
You should say, this is my support bag.
Yes, my emotional support bag.
My emotional
There's
support.
a dog in it. Take my word, bitch. All right. Now, we have a sign up that says guest number 2 here, which has been up for an hour. So maybe take it down because we have another guest that could be on the line or not. So these are things we should figure out.
We don't know that yet.
We don't know, but okay.
But any minute now.
Any minute now. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Then we'll take a break. I want to give everyone a plug here.
Yes.
Although Krayzie Bone doesn't have a lot to plug, I don't think. We got a beer coming out.
Beer.
We got a
St. Clair.
We got a mixer.
Reality show.
Oh, reality show.
Yes, indeed.
Where do we see that?
Reality show called. Well, we just finished shooting a couple episodes. It's called Wingman. Me and my partner Keith G, we going all over the world, seeing how good they cook chicken wings.
Oh, that's dope.
So we call it Wingman, you know.
Love
and yeah, man. So we going to looking for the best restaurants who claim they got the best chicken wings. I also have a beer out IPA called Granddaddy IPA, and also a beer called St. Clair. It's a light beer.
Nice.
Yes,
There needs to be more light beers out there.
Yeah. It's a light beer called St. Clair, you know. So that's what I'm doing, man. And I'm about to go back on the road with Bone Thugs too. So
Yes, sir.
All right. So where can we go? Like, we want to find out tour dates or any of that stuff.
Man, you can follow us on BTNH Live on Instagram, or Krayzie_Bone on Instagram.
And MichaelYo.com. Lots of live shows everywhere. It's a great stand-up.
My big one, Houston, February 3rd. I'm doing the House of Blues. It's my biggest venue I've done. So if you're in Houston, get those. San Antonio, I'll be there too.
All right. Peter Frampton, who's now in the waiting room, who's going to be here. And we'll talk to him right after this.
You're about to hear a preview of The Jordan Harbinger Show from an episode all about sand. You heard me, sand. It's actually quite fascinating. It's the most consumed natural resource that the world is actually running out of.
Every year, we use enough concrete to build a wall 90 feet high and 90 feet across right the way around the planet at the equator.
We're fully eclipsing the rate of creation here.
You're probably sitting in a building made of just a huge pile of sand. And all the roads connecting all those buildings, also made out of sand. The glass, the windows in all those buildings, also made of sand. The microchips that power our computers, our cell phones, all of our other digital goodies, also made from sand. So without sand, there's no modern civilization. And the craziest thing about it is we are starting to run out.
For more on why sand is the next scarce resource and crazy stories about sand pirates on the black market for sand, check out episode 97 of The Jordan Harbinger Show.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Ace man, get it on. I was just at the car dealership getting my car serviced, and what comes on the radio in the dealership but Lick It Up. And then I sat down in the waiting room to wait for my car to get done. And of course, what shows on? The View. Get it on, Ace man.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Well, legendary singer, artist, songwriter, guitarist Peter Frampton is with us. Thanks for joining us. I've been a big fan of yours for a long time.
My pleasure. Lovely to be here.
For me, I was probably 12, 13 when Frampton Comes Alive came out, which is the biggest live album. I don't know if it's
album at the time.
It's just the biggest album. It was just, I'm in Southern California, it was perfect. I mean, it was big everywhere, but I think it was a perfect kind of Los Angeles sound. And it was just wall to wall, Frampton Comes Alive.
Yes, it was. And in fact, I would actually change the channel from one FM station to the next, and I'd hear the rest of the song there. So it was like it was freaky to go from barely getting a song played now and then, to, as you say, it was wall to wall. It was surreal, to say the least.
I was doing a little research and I was looking it up, and at least the internet said the album was recorded at several different venues over a time period, which I don't think anyone thinks about when they're listening to a live album. It must happen a lot, but you just assume this is one night in Chicago. But
right.
It was recorded over several venues. How did that work, and what was sort of behind that thinking, or was it just the best take of the night over several weeks?
Well, what we planned and we did record at Marin Civic Center for a couple of nights in, I think it was June of '75, and then we had a day off, and then we played Winterland, and we got all the acoustic numbers were in the theater, the Marin Civic. It sounded better there, the acoustic numbers. And then I would say 92% of the rest of the album comes from Winterland in San Francisco. But we didn't have good takes of certain numbers. So when we went to mix it, right before Christmas, '75, Jerry Moss, rest in peace, our fearless leader from A&M, he came to listen to it, and we'd only done a single album because we hadn't really sold a lot of albums, and we were costing them a lot of money. And so we decided to just do a single live album. Well, when he heard it, I just saw his face light up, and he said, "Where's the rest? I don't hear Wind of Change. I don't hear, where's Baby I Love Your Way? Show Me the Way wasn't on it.
Baby I Love Your Way and Show Me the Way was not?
Not on the original album. No.
Wow.
Because they were new to the act, and we didn't have the definitive versions, I didn't feel, from Winterland or Marin. So then he said, well, go and record some more. So we went out and did half a dozen-ish more shows. And then Baby I Love Your Way came from the college in Plattsburgh in New York, and Show Me the Way came from Comac, Long Island. Wow. And these are all different sounding rooms. So we had to manipulate them so it sounded like it was all done in one place.
Yeah, groundbreaking. And I wonder, now there was a movie you were in called Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band. It's the craziest movie ever made.
You're breaking up. I'm not really. Are you there?
If you read the cast of this movie with the Bee Gees and Alice Cooper and
Aerosmith,
George Burns, it's nuts. It is a nuts. I think all of it was cocaine fueled in the mid to late 70s. I have no idea, but it's the craziest movie ever made. But what I wanted to get back to you on is you were a matinee idol, and you were a pretty boy, and I don't mean that.
A matinee idol?
A matinee idol.
I'm not Tony Bennett.
No, you were a very good-looking guy who had the right look at the right time. I mean, you look at the cover.
He's a teen idol.
Frampton Comes Alive, and the hair's perfect, and the light, everything's perfect.
Guilty.
But I think for that reason, people may have looked past your musicianship, like your ability to play a great lead guitar. It took me a long time to figure out that Peter Frampton was a great guitar player.
Yeah, I think what happened was, and I did. It's like the guys went to the back of the hall and the girls came to the front. The guys hated me because their girlfriends wanted to be in the front row. I get it. I am a victim of my own looks, and thank God they've gone. That's all I can say.
Disagree.
No, and so yes, if you think of Humble Pie, you think of all my sessions that I've played on and everything like that as the guitar player, and then this comes out, and of course at that point, no one really knew what I looked like until that album came out,
right?
And then bingo, as you say, and I was a victim of the fact that I was a pretty good-looking guy. So yeah, that kind of took over, and a lot of people. There's a lot of actors and musicians and things like that have also been a victim of their own looks. Well, they're so good-looking, they can't be any good.
I get it all the time.
Yeah. So, well, no, with you, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. No, I mean, it happens with women a lot. They don't take beautiful women seriously. And most of the time they're right. I mean, let's be honest. Good-looking people don't study as hard. They don't play the guitars well. They just don't work as hard as ugly people.
I disagree with you,
But every
Mike.
once in a while, Peter Frampton comes along.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and it was frustrating. Kind of happened in the band I was in before Humble Pie, The Herd, and they made me into the face of 68, which was, again, it broke the band up because you didn't see the band on the front cover anymore.
Yeah.
You saw me,
Yeah.
So it's been hey, I'm not going to say, hey, my parents gave me the looks and I'm very thrilled that they did. So, I've dealt with it. It's not a big issue anymore, thank God. And, well, I got the way I look at it, in 2005, I got a Grammy for not singing a note on my instrumental album, Fingerprints. So that meant so much to me.
Oh, wow, yeah.
But I got a Grammy for not opening my mouth,
No talk box either?
There is a little talk box on there. You have to dig for it, though. Anyway.
Yeah, so, in Humble Pie, 30 Days in the Hole was probably the biggest Humble Pie hit. Am I?
Yeah, I wasn't on that one. I was on I Don't Need No Doctor. Everything that's on the up to the live record, inclusive of the live Rock in the Fillmore I'm on. But that's on Smokin', which I still believe is their best album, and I wasn't part of the band anymore. But I still was a huge fan of Humble Pie, so having formed the band with Steve. So, but no, that is probably one of the better known tracks, definitely.
What was the decision making behind doing a live album with all these songs versus a studio album?
Well, we kept putting them out as singles from the studio records, and nothing happened.
Oh, right.
And so once we got to the point where I had released the Frampton record, which has the studio versions of Baby, I Love Your Way and Show Me the Way and Money and Nowhere's Too Far and all that. So, and we were at the same pitch I felt that Humble Pie was with our album, Rock On. And the decision at that point was, why aren't we selling more records when it's a great album? Because they want to see what you do live. Humble Pie, again, was a great live act, So it worked so well for Humble Pie. That was our first gold record. And so at the time when Frampton came out, I don't think anybody really said too much about it. We just assumed that we were going to do the same thing. And that's when Jerry Moss said, yeah, go for it, you know. So it was following a template that had worked for Humble Pie. And it worked for me, but it worked even better.
Was it too much? I mean, you were ubiquitous. You were everywhere. The songs were everywhere. The look, you looked like a little angelic little cherub with your blonde hair and everything. Hollywood,
I didn't know you felt that way.
I felt that way. Hollywood came calling, you know, doing this crazy movie, like I said, with the Bee Gees and Alice Cooper and George Burns. And I find the list of that movie.
You know, as well.
Was it like, we were talking about like 1977, some 6, 7?
Yes.
Was it, I mean, I wouldn't say plucked from obscurity, but you could walk around and people didn't stop you for an autograph back in the day. But then this. Oh, and
you want to read some of the performers?
Yeah, who was in this
Steve
movie?
Martin's in it.
Steve Martin.
Right?
Yeah, I had scenes with Steve Martin, too, yeah.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yep.
Billy Preston.
Everybody's forgotten all those people, but they remember that I'm responsible for that.
Well, you were the lead.
Your fault.
My name was above the title.
I'm telling you, take some edibles and watch it, kids. You'll have the time of your life.
Yeah.
But who else is in this?
Well,
Alice Cooper, George Burns. I mean, Aerosmith,
Tina Turner,
Keith Carradine,
Donald Pleasance.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he was the head of the record company. Yeah.
So
it's a thrill to work with him because I've been a huge fan of his acting for years.
So was it too much too soon, or was it overwhelming?
You're talking about in general, not just the movie.
No, I'm talking about just in general.
Yes, I think that. I mean, I'd been successful in limited ways, getting bigger and bigger. The Herd, first of all, then Humble Pie. So I knew what happened if things broke. But this was so enormous that, you know, I would check into a hotel in New York and the doorman would know who I was, and the elevator man would start singing my song, and, you know, and then I couldn't come out of my room when we were playing in a city. We had to like cordon off the floor because, you know, people were trying to get up to attack me or whatever. But so, yeah, it was very surreal, I have to say, because I come from a very staid teacher and secretary to the head mistress parents, you know, so we were very middle class, and no one had ever been famous in our family before. So, yeah, it was, it was hard to deal with, I have to say, yeah.
And then what's it like several years later? So the album is 76, I think.
Yeah. I heard that for your follow-up album, there were already like 3 million pre-orders, and you haven't even written a note for it yet. So what was that kind of pressure like, having to come up with the next album?
The pressure was enormous. And I felt that we should have waited a couple of years. I mean, I always reference the Eagles because you think they've had so many studio albums, but you can count them on both hands, you know, and they don't go near the studio basically because they won't go near the studio together because, first of all, they're not too thrilled with each other, and secondly, they don't go near the studio until they've got 10, 12 ginormous hits. So they take their time. And I thought that was would have been the better thing to do, but everyone was rushing me and I didn't have the material. It had taken 6 years to write the material for Comes Alive because it was like my catalog up until that point, the best of my catalog, you know. So it was very difficult to record the next record, definitely. And I wasn't mentally prepared for that period, I don't think.
Was this around the same time that you got into the car accident at the Bahamas?
That was after, that was 78. July the 2nd. I crashed my car into the house they used in James Bond in the Bahamas. So at least I crashed into something really meaningful.
Wow.
So,
I didn't know that's where you crashed.
but there was that. And that was, I think, all because of the craziness that was going on. And, in my personal relationship as well at the time. And it's weird to take you out of a normal life and then go not just into successful, but like the biggest artist in the world for a couple of years there. Right. And I'm lucky that I'm as stable as I am, that I didn't, end up, not being here, which is, who knows? There was so much drugs and drink and all that stuff around there because it was the 70s. And I was crazy there for a while, but who wouldn't be with that going on around you? I'm not saying that, but anyway, it's one of those things that I'm glad I got through.
Us too.
I should point out that Peter's got some live dates. Going to be out here at the Greek Theater in Los Angeles. I'm definitely hoping to go to that show April 13th. Frampton.com is where you can go for all the dates. Never Say Never tour. So Peter,
never ever say never.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was the tour last year was Never Say Never. This is now Never Ever Say Never.
Oh, okay.
Even bigger.
I'll write that down. It's a typo. So the music changed, from Frampton Comes Alive, 76. Now you get into 79, 80. And it moved fast. You got your early Joe Jackson, who I adore. I love his first two albums. You got guys like Graham Parker. I'm the only guy in North Hollywood who loves Graham Parker. Me and Judd Apatow are the only two people who love Graham Parker.
Right.
You got the Pretenders' first album. You start in, and then you have the punk movement.
It's shifting towards new wave.
It's moving, Talking Heads and stuff like that. No guitar strumming, nothing. In 3 years, it changed monumentally into the Ramones. You know what I mean, or the Clash. And so, how did you feel about that? And as intrusive and as crazy as your life was when it was blowing up, at some point, did you feel like you'd been left behind? Now it's 1982, or what was your feelings about that time period?
Well, yes, in 77, believe it was when we went to do the European tour, Comes Alive tour. I arrived in England, and the Sex Pistols were on the front cover of all the music magazines. Right. So it was like, oh, things are changing, So yes, it was a big change, and by that time, by 81, 82, it was time for me to take a break because I had been touring since I was 16, and I hadn't stopped. I had never had a year without touring in all that time. So I'm now 27. So, 11 years of touring straight. And and the last couple of years with Comes Alive being the focus, it got crazy and we were exhausted. I asked Bob Mayo on keyboards, Bob Mayo, rest in peace. My dear brother, I said to him, how many dates did we just do in a row? I said, was that like 17 without a day off? He said, try 22.
Wow.
So we did 20, at one point in 76, 77, we were not stopping. We were just going. And sometimes we even played in the afternoon in a city, got on a plane and flew and played somewhere in the evening. It was like there was some greedy people around the table directing my career at that point. So, you know, but the thing with musicians is, unless you've been to business school, we don't really care about the money so much as it's the music, the gigs, the writing, the enjoyment of playing live, and whatever side of the brain the creative is, the other side, I'm a little light on that. You know, and a lot of musicians are, because the creative is much bigger part of their life. So I've never really cared about money. So everybody knew that. So there was a lot going astray. So that was demoralizing. And I went from having millions to having nothing, you know, and owing money, you know. So that was a big awakening too. So it happens to, I'm not saying that I'm different from a lot of other artists that it's happened to, but it was one of those things that happened to me too.
Well, you know, the first thing is just a kind of human nature thing that everyone who performs experiences. I've experienced it on a smaller level than you, but they go, well, the first 2 shows sold out Saturday night. You want to add a matinee show? You know, right. And the person who's asking you is getting 10% or 20%, so, and they're not doing the show. So, of course, they want to add the show. And usually the trouble people get into is this is a month out from the show, or 2 months out from the show, or 3 weeks out from the show, and you go, yeah, go ahead, add the next show. And you don't really think about it because you're watching TV and you're comfortable or whatever. But at some point, you're doing 3 shows in a day, and then the person who wants to get paid is going to book you as frequently and as often as they possibly can. Right. Then there's the part where they may possibly embezzle money or rip you off or what have you. But there's a first part. I mean, the reality is racehorses get treated a lot better than rock stars, and that their owners and trainers understand, like, you cannot work them too hard. They need to be brushed and rubbed down. You can't just run them all day, every day.
Because they get better drugs too, I think.
Yeah, they'll break down. But the rock stars, they just go, get out there and do as many gigs as you can possibly do. But was there embezzlement? Was somebody cheating you? Were they taking the money?
Yeah. There was a lot. I don't want to go into that, who and why and when and whatever. But yes, there was a lot of that going on, and there was also, I mean, I've written a book called funnily enough, Do You Feel Like I Do? And I explain it in there. There was mafia involved as well.
Right. So if I could bring it to a little bit more of a modern time. So Rolling Stone, the Rolling Stone came out with their 250 greatest guitarists list, and I think it's an absolute crime that you were not in that list. And I have some arguments about people who were. But did you get a chance to see who was on it?
I briefly looked at it, yeah, but I'm never in them, you know. So it's like, I mean, the only time that I was in a list like that when I was number 1 was when Frampton Comes. It's all down to your visibility as well. If people don't see you, they don't think about you. You know. So.
I think there's some politics to it as well. Like, unfortunately, you got the pretty boy pop hits, people that put out a lot of pop hits and have a lot of success and look real good are considered sort of lightweight, I think, to a lot of Rolling Stone types, editors, and those people. I think it's almost like you become a sellout when you sell out so many stadiums and so many arenas and so many copies of so many albums. So they try to pick, but what they don't realize is you can do both. You can be an amazing guitarist and sell a lot of albums. But also, once you don't get onto the list early on, I think a lot of the list is shuffling around the list that came before it. And if you're not on that list, then you don't make the current one.
Well, there's so many phenomenal guitar players that aren't on that list either. You know? So, you know, I I used to get, well, what the hell? I'm not on this one. But I don't anymore because it doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
You know, it to me, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, it's like, you know that Hendrix is going to be up there, Clapton's going to be, Jeff Beck's going to be up there, and then you stop and you think, well, who else could be? And Eddie Van Halen, yes, and those are the bona fide legendary players. But Django Reinhardt's not on there either, and he's probably one of the better guitarists ever. In my life. Well, he died when I was very young, but players like that, I don't even know if George Benson's on there, so stuff like that,
Right.
So it doesn't mean much. It really doesn't.
You've worked with so many artists, and you've played. By the way, I loved your performance with Sheryl Crow at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, thank you. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that was really great. What is there an artist that you just saw, like guitarist, singer, anyone that you just looked at perform and just went, that person is not human? That just blew you away.
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, apart from, Eddie, obviously, but
Van Halen.
Yes. But for me, it's always going to be Django Reinhardt, who I just mentioned. He's just like, and so many people try to play like him, and they get very close, but he's still the best. So that's, I always choose people that I'll never be as good as that person. Otherwise, if you choose someone that's on the same level, then, it's not, I want to be challenged when I'm learning new licks and stuff like that. So I always go back to Django and Joe Pass, George Benson.
It's all the jazz.
Those people. A lot of jazz players. Kenny Burrell.
Sure.
I'm a jazzer at heart. So
I wonder if Frampton Comes Alive inspired more live albums to be put out shortly thereafter, because it seems to me that Pat Travers came out with a live song called Boom Boom Out Go the Lights, and that seemed to be a couple of years after that. And there was a few others that came out. So, I mean, but that's business in general. You come out with a live album, it sells 200 billion copies, and then people go, well, maybe we should do a live album, right? But I do think you inspired a burst of live albums for a couple of years.
Yeah, and I think the reason that that it was so big in a way was because it was the best of everything I'd done over the last 6 years, and it was tried and tested. We were like a well-oiled machine live, as all my bands have been, and so I think that it was one great song after the other on that record. There's not really a fourth track, second side, if you know what I mean.
How much cleaning up audibly do you do from the album to what it would sound like if you were at the actual venue? And then are there rules, and is there nothing written on a piece of paper, but I mean, are there sort of moral rules where it's like,
I don't know what the rules, anybody else's rules are, but I have rules, and we had rules in Humble Pie too. Same thing, that if something didn't make it to the truck, if it's not on tape, then we can add it. Or if something like on Go to the Sun, for instance, on the live record, the piano was intermittent. Mm-hmm. So again, Bob Mayo had to, in the studio, I don't know how he did it, but he managed to match it, what he was playing. And because he'd been listening to what was there, and he had to do that. Again, on Show Me the Way, that's the only time I used a cleaner amp, and they forgot to move the mic. They didn't have enough mics, so I had to move the mic from my Marshall cabinet to my Fender Twin reverb cabinet, and they forgot. So there was no rhythm on Show Me the Way. So I had to put that in. So, but as far as redoing lead solos and things like anything else, you can't do it because you'd hear it in the audience. So nothing was redone as far as playing wise, unless it didn't make it to the tape.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I'm
a
okay
weird,
with that.
it's an interesting thing. So I did this prank puppet phone call show called Crank Yankers. And it's an interesting, it's a purely human thing. But once in a while, maybe twice, we get a really killer phone call, a great, funny phone call, but the person wouldn't sign off on it. And we'd go, God, it was so good, but the person wouldn't sign off on it. And I'd say, well, look, we can recreate this phone call using like our secretary, but we can't alter any of the words. The words must be the same. Otherwise, we're just cooking it. And what are we doing here? Now, obviously, It's a dumb rule to impose, but it's interesting that you feel strongly about.
Well, there's an integrity you're trying to keep.
Yeah, except for no one would know one way or the other. But I was like, we can recreate it, but it has to be verbatim, and we're not allowed to write jokes or answers that we would have rather had that would have been funnier or something like that. And but it's an interesting sort of human quality, or hopefully more humans.
I mean, I've actually been in a studio where a very big band was working on who shall remain nameless, who were working on a live record, and I was working on a studio record at the time, and the tech came in and said, "Have you got a guitar we could borrow?" So I said, "Yeah, okay." I gave him the guitar, used my guitar, and then like 20 minutes later, he comes back in. Do you have a bass? I said, yeah, we can use Rick's bass. Yeah, there you go. Do you have an amp? I said, yeah. What do you? I've got this amp. What do you need? My dog barking. So I said, what are you working on? And he says, a live album.
Awesome.
So there are people that don't follow the same rules I do.
Yeah. I think it's just.
Integrity is the word.
Integrity.
You said it.
Yes.
It's a thing you don't. I wouldn't be able to say it's a live record if I had redone everything and kept the audience, which is what a lot of people might do.
Yeah. The band he was talking about is probably Kiss or Not So Humble Pie.
Oh no, not Humble Pie.
I said Not So Humble Pie.
Not So Humble Pie.
That's a Humble Pie.
I can't neither confirm or deny that.
All right. Well, let me give you a plug, Peter. And I hope that this interview went well enough so that when you're out at the Greek out here on April 13th, I can come out and say hi.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that would be great.
It would be a thrill for me. Let me make sure I got this right because it's a typo on my page. Never, ever say never tour.
Yes.
I got it? And you can go to Frampton.com for all the dates and information, or shoot him a tweet at Peter Frampton. Peter, I hope you'll come back and join us soon because I just love talking to you about music.
Well, I would love to, and this has been thrilled to be on your shows. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, I'm glad you turned out to be such a nice guy because I've been wanting to interview you since I was 12. So this has worked out. All right, we'll talk in another 45 years.
No, we won't. We'll talk after the show. Maybe we'll do a retrospective of the Never Ever Say Never tour.
Well,
after the.
I don't want to put any pressure on you, but when Blues Traveler played recently, they brought me on stage to sing "Big Bottoms" by Spinal Tap. All right,
yeah.
No pressure, but the audience did seem to enjoy it.
Okay.
That's all I'm putting out there. That's all.
All right.
Give it some thought. Thanks, Peter Frampton. I'll hopefully see you April 13th.
Absolutely. And you won't have to buy a ticket.
Oh, sweet.
Because you know the artist.
You know somebody?
That's right.
Yeah, you know the artist now.
I look forward to it, my brother. The great Peter Frampton, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you both.
All right, let's see. I'm going to be at Grand Junction, Mesa. Oh, that's coming up. Colorado. Mesa Theater, I should say. January 26th. And then one of the hotel is where they filmed The Shining. Stanley Hotel. Yeah, January 27th. So come on out. Say hi. Live shows everywhere. Just go to amcarolla.com. Well, I think everyone's plugs were gotten in. So until next time, I'm Carolla for Peter Frampton and Krayzie Bone and Michael Yo and Chris Max Bada saying mahalo.